we got word of the closing day. Anybody knows in new construction, that's why you have to vocalize and tell and be open with your clients and make sure you're telling them everything and also keep everything in writing to cover yourself. But we got word of the closing date. It had moved up, and I had told her, hey, it can fluctuate. It can either go, earlier or later. Is that okay? She said, yes, that's fine. But when we finally got word of the closing date and she knew that, she would be closing on this particular day, everything flipped. It was a whole nother switch. She was trying to back out. She was threatening litigation. And then she didn't want to work with me anymore. But when you are under contract in new construction in your building, we are all working together at this point.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? It's Bree, aka your 757 homegirl with Assets Real Estate Team, and today we about to hop into an interview, right, Ju?
Yeah,
All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, y'all. So I'm Julian Sparkman, aka Mr. Square Foot. Bree, what can you tell me what's different or what's changed since you started real estate?
Now, I've only been in real estate for a year. Actually, it'll be a year next month. But honestly, a lot has changed. When I first started real estate, I was so new. I didn't really know a whole lot. So the only people that would trust me for real was first-time home buyers, But over the time, I've really capitalized on my education. Learning in real estate is so big. Really, now I'm working with clients that are trying to buy homes $500,000 above. So, that's a blessing. Really just... the clients are different. The clientele, the people that I'm working with are different now.
Definitely.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, it's more so, I like to focus on the changes that are really affecting the market. For example, these NAR changes, which is one of the biggest changes that we experience since really starting real estate, is the NAR changes. Basically, explaining to clients in depth what's going on, how to maneuver, how to strategize, all those things change. And honestly, I say it made me an even better agent because I can provide even more value now. What can you tell me about posting content? How important is posting content on top of being a well-educated agent, being, getting the knowledge? How important is that?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So posting content is essential. When I first joined real estate, I didn't know I was low-key gonna have to be like a social media influencer a little bit on the side. So yeah, that was definitely a little bit of a culture shock. But honestly, content has been the most essential for me in my business because I get a lot of clients from my content. So posting content is essential when it comes to getting out information, letting your clients know what kind of programs are going on, letting them know what their benefits are depending on, which loan they're trying to work with and stuff like that. So content for real. That's where everybody's at. Everybody doesn't skip a day without going on Instagram or TikTok or whatever the case may be. So content is extremely important.
So would you say content with the education and, knowing what you're doing and how to get a great deal,
for sure,
those all coincide together?
Oh yeah, because if you don't post good, valuable content that has some of that education in there for them, then nobody's gonna want to work with you. Nobody wants to be sold a dream, They want to be told how you're gonna get them from plan A to plan B.
Exactly. I can kind of touch on that myself. I guess we're on two opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to posting and making content, because I make content, but I don't like getting in front of the camera. I like telling people exactly what's going on, how much they can save, how much people have saved working with me, and all the different opportunities that they might be able to qualify for. That's really my main focus. So me personally, I don't think content has helped me a whole lot. If anything, I say it's hindered me just a tad bit, taking the time out your day to edit and things like that. I've spent whole days editing and never posted a video because it's just
time consuming,
giving me a headache. So
it is. What's up, y'all? I really hope y'all are enjoying the video so far and that you're getting some very valuable information. If you're interested in selling your home, make sure you click the link in the description for our step-by-step home selling guide.
What separates you from other agents in the area? What would you say?
Well, honestly, a big thing that separates me from other agents in this area is really authenticity. Because I find a lot of agents will tell folks whatever they want to hear to get them into a deal, to get that next paycheck. But me, I genuinely, truly care about my clients. I want to see them make a good investment. I want to see them happy at the end of the day. I want to see my clients satisfied with that purchase that they just made. So really just being authentic throughout the whole process. I'm doing my best to make sure that they're taken care of at the end of the day, regardless if, we're having fires on the seller side. If there's just things that don't work out, I want my clients to be happy. And I feel like that's why a lot of people want to work with me, because I put my clients' best interests above my own at the end of the day. So, that's something that's helped me a lot in my business. Just remaining authentic, being humble, and, actually knowing what I'm talking about.
Yeah, most definitely. So how do you deal with clients that don't know what they're looking for?
Well, that was kind of difficult because, if you're trying to buy a home, you got to know at least, what you like. Because the first question I'm going to ask you is, what are you looking for? What kind of house do you want? And if you can't tell me, like a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, something like that, it's going to leave me at a place where like, well, what do I look for? But honestly, it's really about asking them questions. What's most important to you? Do you have children? Do you want them to stay in the same school zone? Do you want a ranch style home? Are you okay with going upstairs 3 and 4 times a day? So really picking the client's brain, understanding what works for them and their family, and then kind of just going off of that to help them find what they're looking for, even though they might not know. As much as I've done this, I have a feeling that I would be able to guide them in the right direction to what they would most likely be comfortable in.
I can understand that. And for myself, I can kind of say that when a client doesn't know what they're looking for, like you said, you have to ask the right questions. I kind of have this saying, clients don't know what's important until you tell them. They might think, oh, I want the $500,000 house in Virginia Beach, but your kid goes to school in Greenbrier, Chesapeake, so what's most important? Virginia Beach near the oceanfront or staying in the school zone?
Facts.
And you ask those questions directly to them, because sometimes those could be difficult questions for people who also need closing cost assistance and things like that. So really focusing on needs versus wants, that's really a hard, conversation to have, but it's necessary in order to getting someone the success of, buying a home.
Correct.
So Bria, what can you tell me in your whole, your first year, a horror story that you encountered?
A horror story. Actually, the one I encountered wasn't even too long ago, right? So the buyers that I was working with, they're actually closed now. But one day we were going to see some homes in Portsmouth, and we were done with our homes, our home search for the day. And we had seen all the homes that was on the list because it was getting dark. And if when it gets dark, you don't want to show a whole bunch of homes, especially
nowhere.
Yeah. So, but my client, she really wanted to see this house. It had just popped up on homes.com. She wanted to see it. It looked nice from the photos. And I'm like, okay, I'm already out here. I really wanted to find them something to get under contract because they were also in the time crunch. So I wanted to find them something. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just go to this house, right? So we pull up to the house. I get the door unlocked. But before I even get the door unlocked, I can tell that this house is like straight out of the 1800s. Like, how the home, it was in the historic district in Portsmouth. So know how the homes are out there. So I didn't even walk in before, while I was waiting for them to get out the car. And I'm like, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared to go in just because, I had the doors where you open up like this. And it looked like something out of the Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy, you know? So we walk in and horrible. I don't even know. I don't know what my client had seen in this house, but we walked in it and I just, I'm spiritual. So I'm like, oh, hold on now. They had pictures of old enchanted, white men on the walls and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to be the house for us, So we didn't even go upstairs, but by the time I know it, her husband was down in the basement.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it had a basement. There's not a lot of homes in Virginia that got a basement, but this one did. And they went down. And he said there were some dead animals under there. Like he said there was a squirrel, there was a cat under there that was dead. And I peeked my head under there to see it, but I don't do a whole bunch of stuff like that. It was too crazy. The house was already looking like very scary. Like there was a spirit still living in there. So I'm like, my client at the time, like, bro, you got that. You know, I'll let you take care of that, but I'm gonna go ahead and sit on the porch while y'all look at the rest of the home. And that was my horror story, because it's like, I'm not, why would I walking up in that house looking crazy? And that definitely wasn't the house for us. So we exited very quickly. And that was that.
If you are thinking about purchasing a home, click the link below. It is a link to the 10 essential steps to home ownership. And if you know anything about homes from that time period, a lot of them were used, they doubled as businesses. So a lot of them, they were, morgues where people went to go get cremated in the basements, dentist offices, things like that. So that home could have been somewhere where people were getting cremated.
Don't even know. I don't even want to find out.
Right. So but it kind of touched on, horror stories myself. This was over the summertime. I was helping a client out of state. They were getting a 3-story townhome, and we were under contract. They were building it. She was picking out all the things that she wanted in the home. And then we got word of the closing day. Anybody knows in new construction, that's why you have to vocalize and tell and be open with your clients and make sure you're telling them everything, and also keep everything in writing to cover yourself. But we got word of the closing date. It had moved up, and I had told her, hey, it can fluctuate. It can either go, earlier or later. Is that okay? She said, yes, that's fine. But when we finally got word of the closing date, and she knew that, she would be closing on this particular day, everything flipped. It was a whole nother switch. She was trying to back out. She was threatening litigation. And then she didn't want to work with me anymore. But when you are under contract in new construction in your building, we are all working together at this point, especially when it's right before the closing day, or closing table, I should say. So she was trying to back out, and she didn't want to work with me anymore. So she just only wanted them to communicate with her. But because I was still in the transaction, they were communicating to both of us. So we were just on the same thread. One day I wake up, and she has sent this long email, basically trying to throw me under the bus and say, hey, my agent told me something different. He told me that we would be closing on this day. I don't appreciate it. I feel like I've been lied to this whole transaction, completely switching up on me and everything. So luckily the text message that she included in the email contradicted her whole statement. Because you always want to include verbiage like, we may be closing on this date, but there's a possibility that we may close earlier or later. Is that okay with you? You always include that kind of verbiage, because people can flip and switch, and they'll throw you on the bus if it gets them a jail, out of jail free card or whatever. So that was a horror story for me, because I was just nervous about, I'm just trying to help somebody. Now they don't want to work with me. They're blaming these things on me, and they're trying to throw me under the bus, and they know that I've done nothing but work with them and help them. So that was a lost deal. It was a lost cause. I just, after she said don't contact me and things like that, she said she would reach out to me later on when she's ready. I'm the type of person, you only have one time to really throw me under the bus and do something like that. It just doesn't make me feel safe. I have people I have to take care of. So that was a horror story for me. I wasn't scared, but it's like, okay, I might go to court over this. My license is on the line for this now. So, but everything turned out well. We didn't end up submitting an offer, but everybody was safe and fine.
That's what matters.
Yeah, we let the listing agent know, hey, look, next time, give us a heads up. Make sure you double check that your tenants know that we are coming at this time. So what do you say you like about the real estate market, and what do you don't like?
Something that I really like is the ability to adapt to things. In real estate, things are always changing. Things are always, maneuvering in different ways. Like you mentioned before, the NAR settlement. That was something that really struck a lot of agents in our industry. It really made a lot of people drop out. But for me personally, it made it feel like I got something else to learn. I got something else to get used to, because when you work a 9-to-5 for as long, I've been working a 9-to-5 since I was 15. And what I struggled with the most is coming to work every day and doing the same thing, doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's really what made me become an entrepreneur. I want to do different things every day. I want to learn different things. I want to talk to different people and experience different things. So I really like that real estate gives you that chance to just learn more, adapt more, and go with the flow. You can really do whatever you want as long as you talking to people, connecting, prospecting, and you know, your bills will get paid that way. But you know, something I really don't like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like some of the people in the industry.
Yeah.
That's just facts. That's what it boils down to. You know, everybody's in their different race. Everybody's at, you know, at their different place in life. And I feel like right now in our industry, we're kind of oversaturated with, I wouldn't say old heads, but older people who haven't done all that adapting. They haven't adapted to what real estate has become now in 2024 versus what it was back in 2000 before I was even born. You know, a lot of folks are still doing real estate the old way that's played out, that might not be social media or, you know, might not be what it looks like to me. But that's just really it. You know, I don't, not to say I hate anybody, but I don't like the way everybody does business. And that's perfectly fine. I do my business my way. Everybody, you know, does their business in a different way, which is, you know, fine. But that's just something I don't like. I don't like everybody that I come across and work with.
Right. I mean, you're going to get that anyway. So
yeah.
That's understandable. I can kind of touch on that myself. Something that I don't like is people, you know, not being transparent. I'm very transparent about, you know, what I'm doing as an agent. And so when, you know, people are saying, oh, agents don't do anything, it kind of sucks because we put in a lot of free work.
Yeah.
And hoping, you know, sometimes you're hoping that a deal closes because you've done all this work and it's things out of your control. So a lot of people saying, oh, you know, agents don't do this, they don't deserve to get paid this and things like that. They don't realize that a lot of the hours.
They just don't know.
A lot of hours that we put in and physical work that we put in as well. So, all right, guys, that wraps up this interview with Mr. Square Foot and your 757 homegirl. If you want to learn more about real estate, check out this next video.